Alright, so this knife thoughts video is going to be on this knife. As you can see, it's a Spyderco, and it is the Endura in Teal FRN and s30v steel. So let's open the knife up. And first off, this is a wholesale exclusive, and it's from MGE Wholesale. So what that means is that it's not exclusive to a particular dealer. You can get this at several different dealers who buy through MGE Wholesale, but it is exclusive to MGE Wholesale. I was told that this was a run of 1,400 pieces. So that actually lines up pretty much right with how big the runs are for Spyderco sprint runs. So it's a relatively small number of knives for not being a sprint run, and for Spyderco in general. But you can pause the video and read this if you'd like, but let's get right to the knife. So the Spyderco Endura 4 itself is a knife that a lot of people know about, a lot of people have, a lot of people carry and use every day. But the great thing about this version is that it has this really, really nice Teal FRN. And the first thing I noticed when I got this knife and took it out was just how nice this teal color looks. I hope that it's showing, true to color, true to real life, how it looks in person in the video, but it's just a really nice light blue with a very kind of hint of green that makes it that teal color. And I like it a lot. I think it's a great color for knives. A lot of knives are, dark black, which I'm going to talk about this knife a little later, or gray, same deal with this one. And so it's nice to have a knife that is a little bit lighter colored, a little bit lighter hearted looking, and I really like the teal. And then the second thing is this knife has s30v steel, CPM s30v. And a lot of people who are watching this probably know about CPM s30v. It's a really widely used, well-known steel. Kind of one of the first what you would call super steels, and not necessarily a super steel or the highest end category of steels now, but it's still a really great steel, and it's an upgrade over the normal Endura, which the normal Endura 4 is VG10. Now I like VG10, I'm very used to VG10 because Spyderco uses it on a lot of their knives. But CPM s30v is a definite upgrade. It's going to have better edge holding and still be pretty easy to sharpen. So that's a definite upgrade that a lot of people were happy about, and I don't think that they've done an FRN Endura with CPM s30v before this. So two things that I really like. I like the CPM s30v. I like the teal color that they did on the FRN. It is a little more expensive than a normal Endura with the price increases that Spyderco put out this year. They tend to put slight increases each year. The normal Endura is around $85, I think, whereas this was about $102 pretty much everywhere. And so it's a little more expensive for sure, but I think it's a good upgrade. Now, this has all the normal features of an Endura. It has the really great kind of modified drop point blade. It has the 4-position clip, the injection molded bidirectional FRN, and the really, really well done backlock. This knife came like this. I haven't put any oil on it. I haven't really done anything to this knife other than kind of look at it. And it's drop closed, as you can see, really smooth opening, locks up, no blade play whatsoever, and again, just super smooth and also pretty much perfectly centered. And that's been my experience with pretty much every Spyderco Backlock knife that I've gotten recently. Even these models that aren't necessarily their highest end models, the ones with the injection molded FRN, they all seem to be really well made, and Spyderco definitely knows how to make a backlock. A lot of people, I don't know, don't love backlocks, don't see them as high-end a locking mechanism, but I think Spyderco does an incredible job. I think it's a really, really reliable lock, and I really like backlocks. So this has all the, you know, normal features. Now, one thing, if you're not a big fan of the Endura because it's a little bit larger or anything like that, they have made a Delica, which is the smaller version of this same knife, and a Dragonfly with the Teal FRN and CPM s30v steel. Now, I was looking online and it does look like you can still find those, so you know that's an option also. I really like the Endura, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Endura itself. Like I said, the Endura is a really well-loved, widely carried and used knife, but one thing that I just never really could fall in love with was the ergonomics of the knife. And I think the ergonomics of the Endura work for most people, but with my hand width and my kind of chubby fingers, my fingers always fell right on these two kind of sharp or pointy ridges that create the finger scallops. And it's not like, you know, it's a huge deal where you can't use the knife because of that. I mean, most of the time when you're using a knife, you have a pinch grip anyway. But it is something that never kind of sat perfectly with me and wasn't exactly how I liked it. So when I saw that they were coming out with the Spyderco Police 4 lightweight, I was really excited because one of the changes for the Police 4 was that they changed the handle shape slightly. Now you can see it's not exactly the same. The finger guard is interestingly a little bit less emphasized on the Police 4 than on the Endura. You would think, kind of with the Police usage, that you might want to have a really emphasized finger guard to keep your fingers from slipping forward if you need to do any kind of piercing tasks. But, you know, it still works well. But it also doesn't have quite as much of an upturn towards the end of the knife on the Police. But either way, the ridges that create these kind of finger scallops are much less emphasized on the Police 4 lightweight and the Police 4, but it has been discontinued, and the Police 4 lightweight is more in the same price range as the Endura, unlike the G10 version of the Police 4. So I was really excited about this Police 4 lightweight coming out, but I kind of got impatient, and I had this Endura, and I decided to, you know, kind of take to it with sandpaper, and it was actually really easy. Now, you can probably see, looking at these two handles, that I sanded down these two ridges. And what that did is it took away those kind of hot spots or, you know, pointy areas so that it's a really ergonomic handle now. And like I said, it wasn't very difficult. All you need to do is you get some sandpaper and, you know, just kind of go at it. And, you know, you can sand it down. You can also use a file. I think I used maybe a file from that was on one of my Leathermans. And you can, you know, make it a little bit more ergonomic if, like me, your fingers land on those ridges. And then, of course, you'll have to, you know, clean it out with soap and water and stuff. But I do like the ergonomics on this knife better after sanding those ridges down. And it's one of those things where I wish it didn't bother me because, you know, it doesn't necessarily look as nice with that sanded down, but it does feel better in the hand. And one thing I noticed, Spyderco just put out another one of their product update or mid-year updates with new knives that are coming out. And one of them is a knife they're calling the Rockdropper. And the Rockdropper is not quite the size of the Endura. It's actually between the size of the Delica and the Endella, which is a newer model between the size of the Delica and the Endura. So the Rockdropper is going to be closer to the Delica size than to the Endura size. But it's a knife that has the injection molded FRN and a really similar handle to the the Endura, Delica, and Endella, with this upturn towards the end and the emphasized finger guard, but without these two ridges. So I think that that might be a good option if you do mind those ridges like I do. Although currently the only blade shape on that knife that they've put out so far, or plan to put out so far, is a Wharncliffe. But either way, I do really like the injection molded FRN that Spyderco does. I think that this bidirectional texturing is really great when you do need to kind of bear down and really grip the knife. It gives you a lot of grip, but when you don't, it's not super, rough like some more textured G10. So overall, I really like this knife. If you don't mind these ridges, I think that you should definitely go for it. The teal is a great looking color, and the CPM S30v is a great upgrade over the VG10, and it's just a kind of even better version of the classic Endura. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below, and please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications. I really appreciate it, and check out my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and general knife-related topics. Check out my social media, pretty much all at Knife Thoughts, and as always, don't forget to go out and do good.